First of all, man, I can't even put the words that I saw tonight. I can't even put into words. I mean, I'm blank space like Taylor Swift. I don't even know how we even got to this point. Well, no, I knew how we got to this point. It was terrible fucking coaching by our offensive defensive coordinator. I don't even blame the players. I blame the coaching staffs for putting these players in that sort of position. But whatever, we got the win. Georgia's resilient. They came back and they almost won, and they almost will. This game literally could have still been going on to this day, man. But Ryan Williams is a phenom. Um, I can't even put into words. These are two top-ranked behemoths going against each other. This is college football. This is why we love this damn sport. And what looked like a blowout and what looked like literally Georgia fans were in my, there was a lot of Georgia fans on Twitter and on my YouTube halftime report live stream that were like, dude, this team's going to go 8-4. Uncle Lou made a video, sounded drunk as hell, saying that team's going to go 8-4. What did I say on my halftime report? Yes, I'm giving a lot of praise to Bama, and I'm giving a lot of praise to why Kalen DeBoer is like that. But what did I say on that stream? I said Georgia can come back. I'm not going to sit up and say that we won the game. Now, we're putting belt to ass, like we are whooping their ass. But I'm not going to sit up here and claim that Georgia can win because they can come back and take the lead if we play too complacent. Like, Georgia's that type of team where they know how to make adjustments. And they did. Defensively, what was killing them? The edge. Alabama was murdering them off the edge. A lot of pin and pull action, a lot of motion, some jet sweeps, a lot of read options, like sweeps to the outside. Georgia set the edge in the second half, and we could not make any sort of adjustments to it. Our passing attack was, I thought, lackluster. I hated our receiving concepts in the second half. I thought it was just kind of lazy. And then we were just playing around with the clock. Like, we were just relying on our defense to take as much clock as possible, but we were conservative in the second half. The game plan in the second half was just to say, fuck it, let's just take as much time as possible instead of being aggressive. And we stopped going for deep shots. We stopped going for deep shots. We decided to go for a lot of short intermediate sort of concepts, and we decided again try to rush off to the edge. And we made a lot of stupid mistakes in that second half to get Georgia back in the game. You cannot be. This is why when people were criticizing Nick Saban, when we would be up 45-0 against teams, and people would say, "Why is this Nick Saban always look pissed? Why does Nick Saban? He's never satisfied." This is the reason why he was never satisfied. Because we were up 30-7. We were up by 23 points in the first half. Really, we should have been up by 30. This is the reason why. Because you get this against a good team, against a great team like Georgia. Carson Beck played like ass in the first half. He was flustered. We were disguising a lot of our coverages. We were showing a lot of cover 0, cover 1 looks. And it would turn into zone. It would turn into zone defense. And we would confuse the shit out of him. In the second half, we did the exact same thing. Try to disguise a lot of coverages, only except that what happened? He saw through the bullshit. He wasn't fazed at all by it. Matter of fact, he just took a lot of shots. Said, you know what? I'm still gonna go with the ball here, because I think you're bullshitting. And Carson Beck and Mike Bobo and this offense made adjustments. I think another big situation too is we were on fucking islands all second half, all day really. But these freshmen were on islands. Xavier Brown, Red Morgan, who came into the game, safety matchups 101 Keon Sabb had a shitty game. Let's just call it the way it is. Keon Sabb had a terrible game. Malachi Moore could have had 2 interceptions, dropped them both. It was just, and I'll even say this, Xavier Brown cost Malachi Moore some interceptions as well. But, it's, a lot of our freshmen got cooked. They got cooked. They were left on islands, no help or nothing. It was just left on Revis Island, and they were just cooked. Revis Island got imploded by a nuclear bomb. That's how bad it was in the second half. And we just continued to just hammer it down. Now, eventually, 101 on an island got us an interception towards the end of the game. And I honestly just think that was a bad throw by Carson Beck. But for the most part, I don't know what Nick Sheridan was thinking, and I don't know what Kane Womack was thinking. It was just terrible coaching. You put these players these players, yes, did they play good in the second half? No. But did these coaches help them out by putting them in great positions? No. And then Justice Haynes, bro, get up the fucking field. Should have been a first down, should have kept going. Get up the field instead of stopping. Jam Miller, stop bouncing it to the outside. 2 precious conversions. Stopped because our running backs wanted to get too fucking cute. So if a team makes, and then I would just say this as well, if a team makes an adjustment to just set off the edge, are we going to continue to just still try to run towards it? Or can we make some sort of other adjustment towards it? Because we didn't even try to pound the interior. We didn't even try it. Like, we didn't have any confidence that Booker and Roberts, 2 guys who are some of the best guards in the country, yes, Georgia has a really good defensive line, but they were just setting the edge. They would have 2-3 dudes sometimes there, and we would just continue to hammer it. And I don't know. Kalen DeBoer, but DeBoer, your game management in that second half was terrible. You punt that fucking ball when Georgia has all the momentum in the world. Your defense has played like absolute garbage. Your defensive coordinator is not putting this defense, is not putting your team is not putting your personnel in great positions. And you go ahead and you punt the ball when it's 4th and fucking inches. Now again, if Justice Haynes doesn't stop and just runs, it's a first down and we're not having this conversation. But that tells me that you don't have a killer fucking mindset. That just tells me that you don't have a killer mindset. That tells me that you don't have what it takes to go for the fucking jugular. Because you know what Nick Saban would have done if we were up 30-7? What do you think would have happened? We're going for their throat. And that's the biggest issue with DeBoer. That was honestly the biggest complaint about him in Washington, was that he can be a little too conservative at times. His coaching staff can be a little bit too conservative. I absolutely agree with that notion. Somebody tweeted at me and said, listen, man, welcome to DeBoer football. Or DM me. They said, welcome. This is DeBoer football. This is what you get. Sometimes you'll get some big leads, and then it actually ended up being 1-score games in a position where you should never been. But then somehow it's the way DeBoer and this offense finds a way to close it. Well, let me tell you something, man. I don't know if I could do that because, my goodness gracious, I saw the upside to Kalen DeBoer, and I saw hell with DeBoer. I saw games that can give me heart attacks with DeBoer, and I hope and pray to God that this is not the only game, that this is the only game that we do this. Because let me tell you something. That first half, we were the best team in the country. That second half, we didn't look like we were didn't look like we were even ranked. We looked like an FCS school in the second half, the way that the secondary was getting cooked. Again, no pressure. Could barely bring any pressure at all. We brought pressure in the first half. Second half, barely could bring any pressure. But, our freshman, man, got cooked. Xavier Brown, man, yes, he came up with the clutch pick, and he's going to get better. Red Morgan's going to get better. And Mbakwe's going to get better. But my goodness gracious, did these dudes get cooked. And Sab got murdered tonight. He got murdered. We got to be better. It's a great win. But, again, this game should have been a blowout. Literally, Georgia fans were hopeless. All the energy was sucked out of them. And then all of a sudden, we went from sucking the out of the energy out of Georgia to now all of a sudden, they think that they're the best team in the country now. Like, they think that, that was just a fluke, and this is who Georgia really is, and Georgia's going to blow out Alabama the next time they meet in Atlanta or in the playoffs. Like, this is what we give these fans. So, again, Georgia, incredible adjustments. Shout out to you guys. You guys were awesome. I know a lot of Georgia fans are subscribed here in this channel, so shout out to a lot of you guys here. I'm going to be on Coach Sean's post-game show. I know he's already probably started the stream, but shout out to Coach Sean. Just my humble opinion, just my humble opinion. Just please go to his YouTube channel. We'll be live streaming there. Ty Hayes on Monday. I'll be on this live stream, and we're going to talk a lot about this game. But my goodness gracious, this was an up and down performance by us. We saw the highs and we saw the lows. But at the end of the day, we got the win. That's all that matters. Let's move on to next week let's move on to next week. Let's not be complacent and let's get it going. Like I said, let's get it going. But the toughest game is out the way, but it's not the only tough game. We still got a lot more games that we have to go. Let's get focused. Roll Tide.